I got a comment on my camcorder video, my new camera that I'm filming on right now, and he or she asked if I could do a video on like how to do it as a beginner. So, and as a beginner, a fletching jig, they range anywhere from $30 to like hundreds of dollars. So I'm just going to use one that any beginner can do, that anybody could use if you're trying to fletch your own arrows. They're not going to be the perfect fletched arrows that you would hopefully want, but this will get you started making your own arrows. So let's get into it. Alright, so what you're going to need is you're going to need an arrow right here. You're going to need a zip tie, a marker, your 3 veins that you're going to be putting on it. I'm going to be putting on just these simple 2-inch veins right here. And then you'll need an office clip, or if you don't want to even buy one of them, you could even just use your fingers. And then you're going to need super glue or some sort of arrow glue. I'm using arrow glue. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your nock in your arrow, right? So you could put it in like this. Just get that nock in that arrow right there. And then what you're going to do, you're going to take your zip tie, and this is all going to make sense here in a minute. You're going to take your zip tie, just listen to that. Alright, we're going to get our zip tie on here. I wouldn't say the tightest, but snug. I'll say snug. So she should look like that when you're done, right? So here is the best way that I could show you how to do it as a beginner. So get you a marker, okay, and this is where this comes in. This is where this comes in play. Make sure marker's good. Yep. Okay. So what you're going to want to do to get the perfect 3-vein pattern, okay? So you want your odd vein, which would be my white vein here, is I want that vein right here in the middle of that nock. So right there in the middle of the nock, I'm going to put a mark right there on that zip tie, somewhere around the middle, right? So it should look like that. It'll come into focus, okay? Then now what you're going to do, you're going to flip it around, and you're going to find the line that goes off the back of this, right where the back of your nock starts to curve over on your little piece right there. And you're going to put a little line right there, right? And then now, right on the other side, you do the same exact thing. Right where it starts to curve over, you put another little mark. So that's what it should look like whenever you're done. So, and then you might just have to reline everything up. But yeah, so right there is pretty well your typical 3-vein pattern. So what you're going to do, you're going to put the lid back on the marker, you know, save the markers. Okay, now what you're going to, this is where your clip comes in handy, or you could use it, but I'm going to be doing my white vein first. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be going like this, right? So you could, so this way is better because you could go down about, and after this, you could slide your thing down right where you want them. Normally it's about an inch down from your nock, 1 inch to 3 inches, 1 inch to 3/4. So what we're going to do, like I said, right here, you're basically just going to go like that. So what I'm going to do here is take your glue, and you don't want a lot of glue. You just want a little light pattern of glue on there, right? Because you don't want to drown the arrow, and you could use a nozzle. I have the quick drying stuff. So now right here, we're going to put it on there. Make sure we line up everything. Put it on there, push her down. This is why I like to use a clip, because it don't get my fingers as sticky. Move out my fat fingers out of the way. But on a fletching jig, you pretty well do the same exact thing, guys. Right? And then you press down, you press pressure on it, and then you unclip your clip. And there you go. You just put a vein. And right now, yes, I am using like a little 15-inch arrow. But now we're going to let that dry a little bit, so then and then also, if you want, if your thing got moved, you could move your nock, take like a coin, or something like that, or you could just take your fingers and twist it. Right now I'm just going to use this. Twist it to line up with that odd vein, and then you are pretty well good. Now you let that dry. That's on there, not too bad now. So then now what we're going to do, we're going to do the same exact thing to this side. So, you know, it's just the same process over and over. Keep feeding it. It is hot out here today, and I can't wait for hunting season to start. That's all I have to say. Give it a couple quick dabs, right? Get some glue out there. Right? You don't want to glue your clip, right? So you're gonna get that on there, and you're gonna press that on there right there. Sometimes you will be a little off. You might have to repress it on there, but like I said, this will get you by if you don't have a fletching jig. But if you're really starting to get into it, I would really suggest you to go get a fletching jig. So like I said, I'm not looking for a finish here, so we're not going to wipe off all that glue, but right there, we're getting there, boys and girls. Like I said, everything's not the most perfect, but it will fly good enough to kill a deer. So yeah, so I'm gonna put on this last vein here once I let this red one dry a little bit. Well, it's actually pretty dry. So yeah, we're gonna put this last vein on here and get this done and over with. But yeah, so this is what I would do if I was a beginner and I'm not trying to spend that much money into making my own arrows. But yeah, so we just put some glue on there. Use gravity to spread out that glue. Like I said, you just press it down on there. Press it down on there right where your thing is. Heck, you guys could even use you could look up the spacing between fletchings too. But this is just what I'm just gonna do because I honestly don't have my fletching jig right now. I couldn't find it for this video, so I was planning on doing a whole video about it, but I was like, I'm not that big of a arrow maker, but I do know the simple cons to and how to get into it for a beginner. So like I said, you just take that off, right? And then you could take out your knock, which you could take out your knock however you want it. I like the twist and pull method. Take out that knock, twist this off, right? And now we'll put that knot back on there, and look at that. You have not the most perfect fletched arrow, but tell me that doesn't look like factory. Look at that right there. This is how to fletch your own arrows with WILDBUCK 38. So yeah, so I would seriously probably recommend this if you guys are trying to get into it. But yeah, so yeah, so this is the end of the video. This is my video of how to fletch your own arrows without a fletching jig for a beginner. So make sure you guys check this out if you're not trying to spend a band on getting everything. Like I said, I just used these veins I had on my Easton 6.5 match grades, which are they're blazer bully veins. So yeah, so that's that. Next, like I said, just a little 10-inch arrow right there. She looks good. Now you can shoot this out of a slingshot, because I made a bow, I attached a rest to a slingshot, and I shot it before. For you guys that don't know, I have a scar on my hand. That little scar I shot, not this exact arrow, but an arrow through my hand. So we all do dumb things. But yeah, this is everything. How to fletch your own arrows. If you don't want to buy a fletching jig, like I said, you need your shaft, you need your arrow shafts, you need nocks, and then like I said, you just need a zip tie. You need a zip tie, a marker, a little thing if you don't want to get your fingers all gluey and all sticky. And you got I just used this arrow glue from Bondtech. Right here, just some cheap air glue right there. But yeah, you could use whatever you want. So there's everything. Fletch your own arrows. So we'll catch you guys next time in the next video.